Let's go to Nashville. Mark, you're up with us on Coast to Coast. Hey, Mark.
Yeah, my question has to do with child support deductions. I have a pretty sizable child support deduction. In fact, I had to work 2 jobs, and I barely made poverty. Would I qualify for a prebate? Because otherwise I'm not going to be able to eat, even working 2 jobs.
Everyone qualifies for the prebate. So every household gets it, even the very wealthy. Simply because it puts nobody then has to report their income to the government in order to qualify for it. You keep your privacy. Everyone gets it. Obviously, the prebate would not mean very much to the person with a $10 million annual income.
Right.
But in your situation, you would get it, and you don't have to apply for it. I think, frankly, in my opinion,
it's like a stimulus check. I guess
is so far superior than what we've got. It's even on the average, it is my calculation that everybody's tax bill would go down about 25% because we get that much from the people who are not paying their share now. The underground economy, the tax gap people, all of that money, when it's collected, that reduces the share that we presently have to bear.
So what you're saying, too, Wayne, is if you want to go out and buy a shirt, it's probably going to be about 23% or so more than what you're paying today if a fair tax got enacted, right?
Actually, I'm not saying that for this reason. Right now, anything that is made in the United States has a hidden burden of embedded taxes in it. Products have about 22% on the average that are made up of the taxes that are going to be repealed by the fair tax. If you buy a service in the United States, about 23 to 24% of it is made up of those embedded taxes. We repeal those and strip them out, and it's going to reduce the cost of those products, and therefore it will reduce the sale price. The additional thing that it does is, for the first time, it will put American manufacturers on an even playing field, a level playing field, with foreign producers. The foreign producers who bring their products in will then compete against U.S. products, and their products, new products sold here, will have the fair tax applied to them just like U.S.-made products. And our products that go overseas will have those embedded taxes pulled out of them. And so they will have, in effect, an improved competitive position equal to about 22 to 24% of the products they sell, which is now hidden taxes that they have to pay before they sell it overseas. That is a very unfair burden on our manufacturing, and the fair tax, therefore, would greatly improve the competitiveness of U.S. manufacturing.
Mike in Phoenix, you're up with Wayne Jett on Coast to Coast. Mike, go ahead.
Hi, Wayne. I went to a tea party tonight, and they're talking this and that about the Founding Fathers, and it just seems to me like the Whiskey Rebellion happened within George Washington's lifetime. So it's like, is really all this stuff legit, that we should lionize the Founding Fathers? And would we be really any worse off if we had just stayed with the British?
Well, that's a good question. I think that republic governments, representative governments, have the difficulty there and here that we have to demand that those that we elect carry out what is in our best interest. And I don't think our tax system has been developed at all in our best interest. I do think that the middle class has got to take control of our elected government. It is not being operated for the middle class. I'm not talking about middle income when I say middle class. I'm talking about the great middle class that grows up based on work and performance and merit, and grew up between the kings and the monarchies, the elites, and the serfs. That's the middle class that we've got to have represented here. And right now, I don't think our interests have been well served in that way, certainly not by the income tax system. And this is what will free us from it. at least as far as reforming our tax system is concerned. Other problems in the economy that we're presently suffering through that required this bailout and that sort of thing, that is a different story, different concerns. But certainly right now, with our when we're trying to spend $1 trillion and throw it out the window in order to stimulate the economy, we can save $1 trillion without spending any more money by enacting the fair tax. This is the kind of thing that will actually work and do good as opposed to running up debt for our children and grandchildren.
Upland, California. Jim, take it away.
Yeah, my question is, my understanding that Ron Paul says get rid of the federal income tax and replace it with nothing. And besides that, right now the federal income tax, doesn't most of that money go to the central bankers or international bankers? We guaranteed that none of this money is going to go to them.
Well, I do believe that Ron Paul, you can check, there are currently 55 sponsors in the House. We actually had quite a number of Democrats as well. I think presently we have only one Democrat because Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, last year ordered that the Democrats drop their sponsorship of the fair tax. I think we still have grassroots support in both parties, but this is the kind of thing that you just simply have to study it closely enough to see how it actually works, how much better it works for us, and then stick to your guns and stay after your congressman about it. Press them on it because, by and large, the people who want the income tax system are the ones whose special interests are served by it, and they're going to be giving money to the congresspeople. And so we just have to make certain that they keep their eye on the ball and do what is right for the middle class.
What do we do with the people who are in jail right now, Wayne, because they felt they didn't have to pay income tax or file taxes? So they got arrested, they got convicted, and they're in jail now. What happens to them? Do they do their sentences get commuted, or do they stay in there? What happens?
If they get commuted, it would depend upon whoever has the power to do that. The Fair Tax Act would not let them out of prison because they violated the law at the time they violated the law. They are therefore paying the penalty. I think we could certainly do better actually, this was raised earlier. The Founding Fathers did not authorize an income tax. That is why the 16th Amendment had to be adopted, amending the Constitution. The Founding Fathers prohibited any direct taxes, such as the income tax, and unfortunately we got away from that back in 1913 when the federal income tax was permitted by the amendments to the Constitution. We have it now, and we have to get rid of it. The fair tax would repeal the 16th Amendment. Actually, it provides for legislation to do that. Mm-hmm. And in fact, it even has a provision saying that unless the 16th Amendment is actually repealed so that we can have no income tax at the same time we have the fair tax itself would actually be repealed if they're going to go back to an income tax.
Right. Absolutely. Because, knowing government, they'd keep them both.
Yes, and absolutely the fair tax people that do not support that in any way whatsoever. But the people who hear this story and hear about the fair tax, once they are familiar with it, they are supporting it in overwhelming numbers. And it's simply a matter of getting the word to them and then pressing through their numbers the legislators to enact it. I think you asked earlier what I think the real chances are. It's going to have to be pressed by the people, no question about it. We need more membership in every congressional district. When we get the numbers in every congressional district, they know that they can't beat those kind of numbers, and they will support it. But we need more people in every district. The fairtax.org website is a good place to find the organization. You were kind enough, George, to put it on your website
Sure thing.
this evening. And if people will contact that, they have you can get access to the language of the bill. You can get all the frequently asked questions answered there. It's a tremendous thing that these grassroots people are doing, and I was sure that Mike Huckabee would do very well in the presidential race, but much better than when he started, it looked like, because the first time I heard him interviewed, he was asked about the fair tax. I could tell right then that he had spent enough time to read it and learn about it because he really understood it and did a good job with it.
Well, I got to tell you, Wayne, something has to be done. Maybe it is the fair tax.